Yo, what up? It's me, KOK. Just a quick M7s Astro POV, aka AAC Cruiserweight M3 Savage, as the game calls it. This is the NA Party Finder. We're using PF strats. I know there's a lot of PF strats for M7, but for this clear, it is Toxic Friends Phase 1, Billy Seeds Phase 2, Toxic Friends Phase 3. You could call it the most common currently in PF, or not. I don't know, it doesn't really matter either way. It's only minor differences for each strat, and honestly they're all the same to me. So if you're specifically looking for another strat that's not what I just mentioned, I'll save you the time and tell you that you're probably not going to see it. So Phase 1 Astro, I put my star down at -5 seconds. At -5, the star pops during the brutal impact at the start. So for the Toxic Friends Phase 1 strat, you go to either the southwest or southeast corner, and I position myself with the little grate on the ground that you can see, the little circle grate. You just want to stand on the inner edge of it and you'll be right where you should be. So I've got the spreads here. I use the light speed for some free movement while I get to my spot, and I also recommend neutraling this entire sequence. I don't use it here because I'm bad, but the seed drop plus the stack does do a bit of damage, so you probably want to add some mitt or have some heals ready just in case. So for the gaze mechanic, just stand behind the little dude, and for the Giga Flares, aka camera falling, I will say don't stand too far back from the first one. A lot of people that die to this mechanic are because they stand way too far back for the first one and they don't end up getting far enough away from the third. You can stand like on the inner edge of the third marker that appears and you'll still be very comfortable. So that's just a quick tip. Don't stand too far away from the first one or you'll probably die, since it ends up being more dangerous than just standing a respectful distance away. So true north for the Protean clocks have some sort of healing available, and if you have single targets, I recommend using it for this big knockback here because it does do a lot of damage and you can never rely on people to mitt properly in PF. No, not a ton to say about the beginning of Phase 2, you just dodge the ins and the outs. Make sure you have heals for the Revenge of the Vine cast that happen, and try to pre-position spread to your glower spots whenever possible. So for the Revenge of the Vines here, you can use a lady, you can use a star pop, you can use CU, you can also prep a horoscope. There's a lot you can do, so just pick whatever you want, and as long as people live, then you're chillin'. So first tank flare, if you're feeling nice, you can single target some of the melee since they'll be taking the most damage from this flare, but other than that, yeah, just dodge these Spore Trines and dodge this Brutish Swing. Get your glower spots. And make sure you have something ready for this Revenge of the Vines AoE. So Billy has healers take the tethers, which I think is dumb, but it is what it is. I macro before getting to my wall just to top everyone off from this flare hit. Of course it's optional, but it is rather difficult to heal the party when both healers are stuck on the wall here. One thing to note about the Billy strat is you're not actually forced to stand on your marker the entire time. That's a common misconception you get. So I actually just dropped my seed in the complete wrong place. Because of that, I backshot our Viper here. But honestly, he deserves it for trolling me in that one Fru party not too long ago. So yeah, I probably didn't execute the strat well. I'm not even sure why I'm uploading this replay with me completely not doing the strat properly. But all's well that ends well, am I right? Another Revenge of the Vines. Make sure you have something for this raid wide, and make sure you top everyone else up for the power slam at the end. Both hits do a lot of damage, so just be wary. Single target people. Make sure people are full HP. GCD heal if you have to. And we're on to phase 3. This is Toxic Friends phase 3. Since I am healer 1, I will always be putting my final seed on 4. I'll be taking the west wall tether as per the strat plan. 2-minute here. For these splashes at the start, if you have neutral, it's a good time to use it, and it will come back up for Demolition Deathmatch, which is also a good place for neutral. If you don't have neutral, just make sure people don't die to the AoEs, to the multi-hits, and GCD if you have to. GCD heal if you have to. Especially early on when everyone has lower HP due to bad gear, and you probably have bad gear since heals get a lot stronger with more gear. It's never a bad idea to safety heal if you're worried about things dying. Of course, the M7 DPS check is a little tight, so you can't like just overly spam heal in my opinion if your party is still undergeared, but it's all about striking that right balance where sometimes you GCD heal and sometimes you know you're not going to die so you don't have to. Smash here. Party steps out. And we're going into Demolition Deathmatch. So one thing about Demolition Deathmatch is the ranged players with the tethers will sometimes take a lot of extra damage if they accidentally stretch their tether too far. So before my tether locks in, I step forward and macro. Puts macro on everyone and it tops everyone up. For the raid wide. Or for the stack damage. Okay, my macro was actually a little too early. It didn't actually re-heal me, but it does heal the tick damage for the stack damage. So regardless, macro is still useful. So healer 1 here, the ad will be to your left facing in. Make sure you're just standing behind it. Just be aware that sometimes the tanks will yoink the ad when they're standing behind it. So, ranged got the seeds here. Make sure people are full HP before the seeds drop. And make sure people are topped for the stack damage. And have something for the Proteans as well. A lot of damage coming out in a short sequence here. Just do your best to keep everyone as healthy as you can. It's relative north for the Proteans. Relative to the boss facing the corner. Just something to keep in mind for that specific pattern. And final set of mechanics where you drop your seeds and dodge the ins and outs. Preposition to your waymark. Since I'm 4, I'm prepositioning to the 4. This is a out. You want to be in the little triangle cubby that forms on the outs. And this is a really hard dash if you don't have sprint, so good luck for the people that don't have sprint. So you really want to save sprint specifically for that mechanic, since I think it might actually be impossible if you don't have sprint for that. So keep that in mind. Save sprint for placing your seeds down. That sprint there, I think I get smoked, which is suboptimal, especially for this with this 2 minutes coming up. Final 2 minutes, PF sometimes holds it for the pot. I send it since I know it's a dead boss. And yep, boss falls over. Turns out when people have gear, it makes mistakes a lot more recoverable. Even when you backshot your Viper in the middle of phase 2. Anyways, that's my Astro M7 clear. Just pretend that Billy Seeds placement didn't happen. It was supposed to be on the seeds, but I just got greedy with my uptime, so might be MB. Everything else was pretty good, so yeah, hopefully you learned something, and good luck on your prog. See you next time.